From the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
It took 108 years, over 39,000 days, 18 U.S. presidents served during that span, and many, many fans waited. But like most things in life, the long wait is worth it today as Chicago Cubs fans wake up as champions. And look, I think you look at Game 7 and the way everything went, it was the perfect ending to a story that has been in the making for a very long time. Welcome back to the Sports Vault, everyone. Jersey Joe Archino back here. And I mean, what can you say other than that was probably the most incredible baseball game most of us have seen in our lifetime, and we've been lucky enough to have been able to see a lot of good ones with a lot riding behind it in terms of the implications, but never anything to the degree of the Chicago Cubs in the long period that they have waded through. And I mean, look, to go the full 7 games, then to go into extra innings, I mean, what other way would they have won it than that way? It's kind of like the Cavaliers with the NBA this summer, where it had been over 50 years since any Cleveland sports team had won a title. And then to come back 3-1, to be the first team ever to do that, and to beat the Warriors, who had earned the best record in NBA regular season history. I mean, again, it's another one of those things where you say, well, if it's been this long, you might as well do it in a big way. And the Cavaliers did it, and then the Cubs follow suit, and they come back down 3-1 in the 7th game. It went to extra innings, and they get it done. And I just think everything about it was everything that we wanted. If you were an impartial fan in this series, the way that it went, it gave you everything. There was moments where you were in doubt if the Cubs were going to be able to get it done, but at the end of the day, they most certainly did get it done. And I'm not going to lie, I picked Cleveland to win this series, and I just did say when I did my first preview of the World Series, I hope it goes the first 7 games. We get to milk every single second we can out of this, and we really did. And one of the best interviews I listened to this summer, Colin Cowherd had MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred on, and Manfred kind of said, without directly saying it, it wouldn't be bad for business if the Cubs won the World Series, and most certainly that's the case now as they do stand as the champions. And it would have been nice for Cleveland to have been able to build off of what the Cavaliers did this summer, but in their own right, this new page in the Cubs' history is almost something so unique that, again, it's kind of beyond description. And the Cavaliers this summer, that was just it. I mean, what that title represented to the city went beyond description. And especially when you're Chicago and you're such a storied city with so many big names in entertainment and sports, you name it, this championship kind of puts that all into perspective again and makes you all put that all into evaluating how deeply profound the meaning of all those things really were. And this Cubs victory really does do that. And obviously the game itself, just the way it started to the way it ended, the Cubs have to find themselves a little bit lucky to have gotten out of it, especially Joe Maddon, who, let's be honest, typical overmanaging. And I think largely in this World Series, it wasn't about overmanaging. I think that's sometimes one of the biggest knocks on Major League Baseball is the constant overmanaging takes away from the enjoyment of the game and usually backfires. And I think once again, you saw that a result of overmanaging by Joe Maddon nearly cost him not once, not twice, but 3 times whenever he seemed to make that pitching change, whether it was at first with Hendrick or then when he took out Lester for Chapman. It just backfired each and every time. And of course, when Chapman went back in, we have a tie ball game, and the momentum clearly could have shifted, but Joe Maddon finds himself as a very lucky man today, as he almost had that typical line. And it was funny, people putting Joe Maddon on Steve Bartman's face. The memes were out there and ready, but the Cubs quieted it down and were able to find a way to get it done. But largely, the series was not a lot of overmanaging. It was just as good, as well played as you could get. The momentum coming into Game 7 undoubtedly was on the Cubs side, and you could just see that from the very, very onset of this game with the way the Cubs bats were just going. And sometimes it seems like you can't always explain what happens in sports. It seems like sometimes fate is on your side, and I'd be hard pressed to tell you that fate wasn't on their side last night. I mean, it seemed like whenever they were down, something might have bounced their way. Even when things weren't perfect and the game was tied, one little thing, one little bounce would go their way. And this is why we stand today and we see them as the champions of Major League Baseball. But more than anything, the future, I think, is what has to have people so excited. And not just for the Cubs, but I think for Major League Baseball as a whole. This is a symbolic victory, not just because it's the first time in 108 years that they've won. I think it really says and shows where the game continues to go. And for a while, the problem, I think, with the game was it didn't appeal to the young people as much. There wasn't identifiable stars who were young, who people could get behind. But you look at the Cubs roster, and a lot of the young guys in this game are on that team. Chris Bryant, Rizzo, all these young, talented players who represent their names well and represent the game very well. The Cubs have this window of opportunity, and I don't think they'll win it again next year. It's so hard to do. But they're going to be relevant for a while, and that's good for the game. That's good for everybody, whether it's the Nationals with Harper, whether it's Trout with the Angels, whether it's all the young cores, and the way we're seeing this youth movement going across Major League Baseball. I mean, you go to the Royals last year. It was kind of an infusion of vets with the young talent, but the way that the Royals rebuilt themselves to get that window of opportunity and capitalize on it was through a youth movement, and we're seeing it sweep across Major League Baseball. I think at this point, Theo Epstein might be a guy who knows what he's doing based on the results that he's been able to come down with, and a large degree of that is the youth movement. I mean, he's a guy who's always been a big advocate of that, and you heard it said on the telecast last night that he told people right off the start, I have a plan, but it's going to take time. It took time, like most youth movements do, but at the end of the day, when you shed 108 years of not winning and you finally get it done, I think that wait is long worth it, like most things in life are. But all you can do is say congratulations to the city of Chicago, to the Cubs, because they deserve it. I mean, look, 108 years, I think sometimes you just need to sit there and really think how long that really is, because that's an unfathomable amount of time, over 100 years to win something, and to win, especially, I mean, we're not talking about a small market. We're talking about the Chicago Cubs, Chicago, one of the biggest markets, one of the biggest places in the world. But they got it done, and I think more than anything, all you can do is say congratulations. A great series, a great win, and the Cubs deserve everything that they get from it. But until the next time, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino. And I'll catch everybody in the next episode.